Welcome to Introduction to Philosophy of the Human Person. My name is Jordan, and our topic is what is philosophy? So, in this lesson, we will be dealing with worldviews, understanding the meaning of philosophy, and explore some philosophical questions and truth and knowledge claims. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to first define philosophy etymologically, distinguish the meaning of worldview and presuppositions. Third is do some philosophical questions and truth claims on their own. Let's have a brief introduction from John Frame, a Christian writer. Sabi niya, I define philosophy as the disciplined attempt to articulate and defend a worldview. A worldview is a general conception of the universe, meaning ang worldview daw is an overall or kabuuang paniniwala ng isang tao. The sciences generally seek understanding of particular aspects of the universe. For example, we have chemistry, the chemicals, biology, the biological, for the psychology, the psychological, the physics, for the physical, and so on. But in philosophy, it deals with the most general truths of reality. What is, how we know it, how we should act. Basically, philosophy deals or goes beyond the biological, the chemical, the physiological. It also goes beyond the psychological. So, therefore, the term worldview is an appropriate designation of the subject matter philosophy. Sometimes they are interchangeably used. So, philosophy, uh, the origin of the word philosophy came from two Greek words, philos and sophia, which means love of wisdom. Etymology means the study of the origin of the world. Take, for example, the word confidence. It came from the two Latin terms. Con means with, and fide means faith. So combined together, we have confide or confidence or with faith. At sa philosophy naman, we have philos and sophia means love of wisdom. And since I am by the grace of God a Christian, makikita natin dito that our foundation is Jesus Christ. Siya yung source of wisdom and knowledge natin. In Colossians 2 verse 3, in Christ are hidden all treasures of wisdom and knowledge. Basically, if Christ is false, then therefore there can be no wisdom at all. If in Christ are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge, therefore there can be no wisdom without Christ. Then let us examine some of the definitions given to us by some of the authors. Let's have Paul Kleinman. Uh, in his book, Philosophy, it is the study of general and fundamental problems concerning matters such as existence. Sa branch ng philosophy, we call that metaphysics. Knowledge, sa branch ng philosophy, we call that epistemology. Values, sa branch ng philosophy, we call that ethics or morality. And reason, mind, and language, sa branch ng philosophy, we call that logic. Now, sabi naman sa vocabulary.com, philosophy daw is the rational investigation of questions about existence and knowledge and ethics. If you are fun with asking questions, ibig sabihin you are already doing philosophy. There is no doubt that everyone is doing philosophy. The question is, are we doing philosophy accurately or rightly? So, yun yung question doon. And according to, again, vocabulary.com, philosophy is a system of beliefs. Again, because philosophy and worldview, those two terms are interchangeably used, then we also call philosophy a system of beliefs. So, belief as a whole, accepted as authoritative by some group of schools of thoughts. And also in vocabulary.com, it is any personal belief about how to live or how to deal with a situation. Regardless if itong belief na ito ay hindi mo sinishare sa ibang tao, ito ay personal mo lang, But then again, there are certain beliefs and presuppositions na imposible na hindi shared, like for example the laws of logic, or what we call logic, which we will be dealing later siguro. And examples of philosophical questions, and these questions are indeed valid. And if you have a worldview that can really answer, or if you have a philosophy that can really answer these philosophical questions, then your worldview is uh, then your worldview can really provide answer to these philosophical questions. Now, first one is, why is there something rather than nothing instead of nothing? Why is there something? Second is our universe real or just an illusion? Do we have free will, or are we just byproduct of chemical reaction in a random chance universe? Tayo ba ay galing sa fish na naging amphibians at naging reptile and then naging mammals na ngayon? Congratulations. Ganun ba ang ating uh, life dito sa mundong ito, na tayo ay result ng evolutionary process of millions and billions of years ago, which, by the way, walang nakapag-observe na merong isang living organism or species at nag-evolve ito from fish to amphibian, from amphibian to reptile, then from reptile to mammals. And one of the big questions dito sa theory of evolution na ito is, alin ang naunang nag-evolve? Ang dila, ang ngipin, ang utak, ang kidney, or sabay sila? If sabay, then na-observe ba ito? So, malaki ang problem, and we can deal with this topic later on in the future. So, question, does God exist? This is a valid question, and if so, since marami ang nagsasabi na meron din silang Diyos, which God? Can we really know the one true God? Or is it impossible to know if there is a God? Or is there a God or no God? And this is a valid question. Next, is there life after death? What is truth and how do we know it? How is science possible? There is no doubt that we human beings are doing science. The question is, how is science possible? Paano nagiging posible ang science sa philosophy mo or sa worldview mo, or you just assume that science is a tool na nagagamit nating lahat, but you cannot explain how science is really possible sa iyong worldview. Now, let's define what a worldview is. As the words suggest, a worldview is an overall view of the world. Again, sa Tagalog, ito ay kabuuang pananaw, kabuuang paniniwala. Ito ang filosofiya sa buhay. But this is not just an ordinary, a physical view of the world, rather a philosophical one. Okay, and worldview, as I illustrate, let me use the cake analogy. The cake is what worldview is, and the ingredients to produce a cake are what we call presuppositions. So basically, worldview is a summation or a network of presuppositions about reality through which we interpret or evaluate facts. So if I use the cake analogy, worldview is a summation or a network of ingredients about reality, or through which we interpret or evaluate facts. And those ingredients are what we call presuppositions. Paano ba gawin ang cake? Ang cake ay kailangan ng flour, kailangan ng cornstarch, kailangan ng egg, kailangan ng water. And I'm not a baker, but I think fundamentally yun ang ingredients ng cake. So to form a cake, you need that. So to form a worldview, to have a worldview and an overall view of the world, is to have a certain presupposition. Okay? So let's say, for example, I am personally a Christian. I believe that you and I were made in the image of God, and that this world, this universe, God created this universe, and there is an objective moral standards, who is God himself, and logic exists, and there is a basic reliability of our senses, and that science is true. So if these things combine together, these presuppositions combine together, it forms a world view. Okay? Let's proceed. Every statement you say will depend on your worldview. And that statement is what we call truth claim or knowledge claim. Basically, by definition, truth claim is a statement or a sentence that has a truth value in it. Meaning, when we examine a particular statement, we can say that the statement, or we can validate if that statement is true or false. Let's say, for example, I am a human. So basically, the statement I am human, since I am the one speaking, that is true. Now, let's say I am handsome. Of course, that is also true. But of course, again, I have a ground for saying that I am handsome, and you also, we are all beautiful and handsome because we are made in God's image. And Sir Jordan is handsome, of course. Again, it's a reiteration, or yeah. Next, there is no truth. And what do you think is the problem of this statement? It's a denial of truth. And if we examine this statement, is this statement true? If this statement is true, then therefore there is truth. But since this statement is a denial of truth, then therefore the statement cannot be true. The statement is false. And next, I am the way, the truth, and the life. If ako ang nagki-claim nitong statement na ito, then the statement is false. But if we attribute this statement to Jesus Christ, then the statement, of course, is indeed true because si Jesus Christ ang may sabi nito. Next, reality is just an illusion. Are we really living in this reality, or this reality is just an illusion? You and I are just mere illusions after all. And next, we are all going to die, and don't try to examine if you will really die. We will we will certainly die in the future. Hindi pa man sa ngayon, but mamamatay din tayo. And the question is, are we ready to face our Creator once we die? Last but not the least, please close the door. Is this a statement? Of course not. This is a command. Okay? This is not a statement. It has no truth value in it because pwedeng sumunod ka lang dito or hindi ka sumunod. Next. So, since I am by the grace of God a Christian, in the Christian worldview, everything begins with God. We start from God, and that without God, without Him, no one can know anything at all. But the thing is, everyone knows things. Lahat tayo ay may mga nalalaman na bagay-bagay na sigurado tayo. And that proves Christianity true because we, as human beings, are standing on Christian presupposition. And that, sabi sa Psalms 111 verse 10, that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. At sabi sa Proverbs 1:7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So, ang foundation for true wisdom is the fear of the Lord. It is the Lord, and the foundation for knowledge is no other than the Lord Himself, Jesus Christ. So in the succeeding lessons, we will be learning how secular philosophy is developed in the course of history. So your assignment will be make an advanced reading of the pre-Socratic era. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day.